But let's switch from calming force to chaos. Welcome to the Discover Las Vegas Summer Edition. I'm your host, one of your hosts, Priscilla Scott, with the City of Las Vegas Recreation Coordinator. And I have lots of fun personalities with us today. We also have Miss Jasmine. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jasmine, recreation leader at the City of Las Vegas.
And back for a cameo appearance, we have
Mr. Philip Payne, recreation leader now at Stupak Community Center. Raise the roof.
okay. And then for the first time ever here with Discover Las Vegas, we have Miss Nicole.
So I'm Nicole Koerwitz, and I am the center coordinator at Veterans Memorial Community Center.
Thank you guys. That's awesome. So our summer series is all about summer camp. Summer series actually wraps up season 1 of Discover Las Vegas. We have been here for a year, just about. It's been a long journey. Shed a tear, a happy tear. But we're super excited. Like, summer camp is on the horizon. The City of Las Vegas has the best camp around. Lots of really cool stuff. And there's a lot that goes in to get our staff ready for summer, to get our facilities ready to open. There's a lot of behind the scenes that a lot of people don't recognize when they show up to camp, like on the very first day. But before we go to all of that, Nicole, since you are brand new to Discover Las Vegas, tell us who you are.
So I am, I like to introduce myself when someone says who I am. I am a Grammy, Mimi first, and then I'm an amazing mom, and then I like to think that I am a pretty cool center coordinator at the City of Las Vegas, who has been doing this for a super long time, longer than I have not been doing that. So recreation is my passion, and I love, but that is kind of who I am.
Okay. What is your favorite aspect of your job?
Getting to make a difference in people's lives. All the way down to the minimal of if someone's having a bad day to sad to say that I've actually saved someone's life before. That that we've touched so many people in so many various ways that is the most rewarding and impactful thing of our job, and that's what keeps me going every day, coming back not only just to the community but to work with the people and to build the relationships both personally and professionally with my fellow teammates is second to none.
So last time on Discover Las Vegas, we talked about favorite summer memory, and that's not what we're here for, but what's your favorite summer memory?
You know, I was kind of prepping, thinking, I was like, I wonder what Priscilla's going to ask me tomorrow. And I have to say, probably one of my favorite all-time memories that I can sit, watch, or think of, and there's a lot, is it was probably about 6 years ago. We do these fun, crazy kindness challenges, and my crew that we all worked together, and Priscilla was part of that crew, and so was Miss Tanya and Chris, who is not with us anymore. We made a video, and that is still one of my all-time favorites, that when I watch that video, if that doesn't make me bust a smile, it's crazy. But the fun part of it is the kids that are in that video are currently working for me. So that is even like more. Like they have been participants, CITs, and now they're team members. And but on top of getting to make this fun video, it was to see those kids growing up and coming back and doing what I love, just is super cool. But that's probably one of my favorite memories.
Oh my gosh, I have the original.
It's a fun one.
Gonna go in the
It's
edit.
going in the edit,
going in
and
the
it's
edit.
going on the tail end. It is literally hands down. Whenever anybody asks about the lip sync challenge, because that's what you're talking about, it's
Yep.
one of our kindness is contagious components, and there's a lot of friendly competition that takes place between the sites. That is the sample that I give people.
Yes.
Is that year. And I've never found anyone to top that one.
No. No.
So hands down, it was so much fun to make. We did carpool karaoke. Don't worry, no traffic laws were violated when you watch this. Everything was done in a parking lot. Everybody was safe. There were no other vehicles around. No traffic laws were broken. But we did carpool karaoke and literally just had a blast. And the kids had so much fun. There's
All
cameos.
250 of them. Like dancing. It was just so much fun. It was a great day.
You know, when I think about stuff like that, I'm like, what does it look like when people are watching us? Like from the outside looking in, right? Because some of this stuff is filmed in the outside of the facility. So I'm thinking of like cars that are driving by, people that are like walking their dog, people in the park. They've got to think like, have they lost their minds? Like they see all of us in like costumes or singing and dancing and doing all this stuff. And I thought the other day, I'm like, man, I wonder what it looks like when you're like coming through. But yeah, that was a pretty cool summer.
That was a cool summer.
Yeah.
Not just the video, but that was the whole summer was a great summer, but that video was just it is a top. It is a Grammy Award winner.
It is.
Hands down.
Grammy. Just keep that in mind.
Wait, did you say there was you, Priscilla, and Tanya all in the same facility?
Yeah,
Yes.
It's an elite group.
that is.
I mean, city-wise.
And then Chris Charisma, who's over at North Las Vegas now.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was.
Oh, I know Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, I've met Chris.
You know, Chris, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. All y'all were in the same center?
All of us in the same center.
How
And
long did this last?
like a year, we were all together.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Priscilla left, and then Tanya left, then Chris left, and I'm still there.
Yeah, no, it was, so when I first went up to Vets, Vets historically has been one of the largest sites that we run long before Nicole or I were there. And when I first got there, like camp is a huge uphill lift and they have 4 rec leaders that dedicate like their entire summer just to camp. And everybody was like, okay, I run my section of camps and I'm doing my stuff and I'm going to go shopping for them and I'm going to set up my field trips, and everything was very individualized because there are 4 different tracks of camp that run up at Vets. And you guys know, like, I can't be alone for too long. And like, I talk to people like Jasmine who may not talk back. And so I was like, oh my gosh. So like the dynamics changed, and Tanya's very similar. Nicole's very like communal, like everything together. And so once we were all kind of working together, it was like, okay, no, let's condense. Like I would go shopping, they would meet me, and everybody would unload the car. Or when we were planning field trips, it was like one person booking all of our buses. We started to do things like collaboratively, but it was really cool to see like everybody kind of like, you didn't have to ask, hey, can you do this for me? Or can you do that for me? And so we started to really like put everything together that way. And so we had a lot of fun. And both Chris and Tanya were fairly new in their position at the time. So what was really cool too is Tanya has this personality of like, okay, come on, let's go. Like everything. And she even like will say, okay, come on, let's go. And like everything, she's like all in, and she'll bulldoze her way into, well, I don't know how to do that, so show me. Or can I watch you do that? Like, and she's really, really good at that. And Chris was just like salt of the earth, like whatever you need, I'm here for you. Chris, if you're out there watching. So it was really cool. Like once we all kind of like, and you know, I'm bossy and they let me be bossy. I'm assertive. I'm not bossy.
Assertive, yes. And we love you for that.
Oh, and so like it just really, really worked. And then, you know, Nicole had all like the heart stuff, like you guys are getting a little too far ahead. Come on back. So it worked well.
Yeah, it was a good team. It was a good, solid team.
And that makes for the difference during summer. So, Phil, you have a great summer to look forward to. This is you've obviously worked summer camps. You helped when we had the Vegas Strong Academies. You've done stuff with CCSD. You've been all over the place. But this is the first time that you are running your own campsite, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, I've been coined to deal with the teens for summer 2024. So,
What are you most looking forward to?
I mean, this summer being able to take the field trips with the kids. So, I mean, my group we're capped at 13. So, I want to make camp more, intimate for them, for that 13 group. You know what I'm saying? Literally build, essentially a team. With
Well,
those
you're like the
13
kid
kids and be
magnet.
able to show them,
Yeah.
some of the things that they may not be able to get to see on a regular basis, especially if they're from here. Because I know me growing up, I didn't even get to really walk the strip until I was 17, 18. So those are some of the things that I'm excited for.
Okay. So far, what have you seen have been the differences as you're preparing for summer now that you're running your own campsite versus some of the things you've done in the past?
Oh, for sure, all the administrative stuff behind it. So, like making sure you're setting up schedules, making
All the
sure.
stuff you love.
Yeah, exactly. Sitting at the computer. Scheduling the field trips. So, we're taking a lot of field trips with Doolittle and East, at least the teen wise. So, just being able to coordinate that, et cetera, et cetera. I did get it kind of last minute, so just me trying to catch up on some of that administrative stuff is definitely different, because when I used to work camp, I didn't have to, contact outside facilities or, do any of the administrative stuff. I was just, show up with the kids, hang out.
So it's interesting
8-9
because
hours.
you were here with us last year, and one thing that was different for me was getting a request from you. Hey, we'd like to bring these kids on these days, and I had to chuckle a little bit because normally I'd be like, "You said yes to what? We have who here?" And so before you would just invite people in, and it was like not a big deal because you were here, and so to actually get your request, I was like, "Oh well, this is different. I actually have to schedule Philip to be here and approve that he's here."
Oh, and trust, when we come during the summer, I'm learning from y'all.
Yeah, don't worry.
Drones, coding.
I don't know if we're going to take our drones out on those days. The verdict is still out. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it in a later episode. So, Jasmine, your summer experience is different. Tell us how your summer experience is different than theirs.
So I've only ever done specialty camps. So like last summer I did 3D print and design and then kids esports. And then even before that at the museum, I did like another design kind of camp. So I've never done like a traditional 7 a.m. Oh no, I did winter camp. I did winter break camp. So that was an experience. That was before I'd ever really done any kind of camp. And Nicole was like, "Okay, you're gonna do winter camp," and I was like, "Okay."
She did a fabulous job.
Yeah. I made the schedule. Lots of like crafts, activities. So it was a lot of fun. Field trips. Yeah.
One thing that is a benefit being at Becker is because our camps are so specialized. The kids have asked their parents to be here. A lot of parents turn to services like summer camp to be used for out of school time childcare so that they can go to work because they don't want to leave their kids home alone all summer long with nothing to do, eating up the fridge, scrolling social media, all those types of fun things that teens and kids like to do. And so for us, engaging our kids is usually not very challenging because they already have that interest. And so I feel like for Nicole and for Phil, you guys have a greater responsibility because sometimes it's kids that have feuded with their parents that are like, I don't need a babysitter.
I don't want to go.
I don't want to go to camp. I don't want to do that. I don't like to do that, and now, and especially once you get into the teen demographic, some of them are like they're too cool for everything. So it gets to be a little bit challenging in that sense. Nicole, you've worked with camps for how long?
Now you want to date me, huh? I actually started working camps in 1991 for the city of Las Vegas at the community school. It's actually right there at Brindley Community School. That was my home for about 12 years. So I've been doing camps since 1991, minus a little 4-year hiatus that I took from the city, but been back. But since then, been doing camps for a long time. But let's see, at Vets, I think I'm going on year 7 this year. This will be year 7.
So how has your camp experience changed? Like moving from back then to where you are today?
Digital. We used to, this year was a little different for us up at Vets this year. We literally filled our camps minus 1 week and 1 camp in day 1. So when registration opened, we filled day 1. And that was something that has never happened since I've been at Vets on day 1 that we filled. So that was different for us. Normally we always fill a couple camps and then have, by week 3, 4 we're full, but we are currently full and over full with very large waiting list. But back in the day when we used to take camp, we used to take 200 kids. Parents would be waiting out in lines starting at 5 a.m., having their coffee, their lunch. And I say lunch because it would take that long to register because everything was paper. And we actually had lines this year waiting, which was kind of odd. But not too many aspects of camp have changed over the years. And I think when you really go back and think about that, that is a fun part. So if I'm going to now say in the last 30 years, we've altered, obviously, we've changed, but the tradition of camp has really kind of stayed the same over 30 years. 7 a.m. to 6, you go on a field trip, we get to go swim, you get to have arts and crafts, you get to have games, you get to build relationships, and that aspect hasn't changed. So to be able to still be consistent and offer that is pretty amazing. I do think we have to keep up with the times. We did that this year, is alter one of our camps. We've always had 2 sports camps, and I think back when Priscilla and I were working together, I was like, why do we have 2 sports camps? Why do we have 2 sports camps? I don't want the 2 ages. And so this year we changed it, and we went with the trends, and we did a Game Masters camp. So all of our camps getting with the esports and games and trends, we switched it, and surprisingly that was a good choice because those actually filled up versus our other camps that normally fill up within day 1. So we're super excited that we get to alter, but still going to be the same concept of camp. So not much has changed over the years of doing it, but yeah, I think it's going to be super fun.
So you've also had kids that were in your program then become CITs that are staff. What advice would you give to Phil leading his first traditional summer camp team to kind of spark that in some of the kids?
It's fun because actually I have 4 staff on 4 team members this year that have all been campers and 5. Sorry, let me correct that, 5. I think when we've brought them in and asked them as they've been working, like, why did you want to do this? And they really talk about exactly what you said, Phil, making a difference and impacting them. That's what they've wanted to come back and do and give back. And so it was super fun to just hear you a few minutes ago of wanting to build those relationships and that intimacy. And you're going to be that role model for them and hopefully set that. So be the best you can be all the time, which you already are, so I feel silly saying that, but be the best you can be for them, because I think every day when we walked in and I started this as a career, or Priscilla or you or Jasmine, is we really didn't think about how we are going to impact kids' lives. And for them to want to come back and do what we do, that is like such a reward to be able to do that. So saying that you were going to take those 13 kids and give them the best of you, they're so lucky. So just be the best you.
What questions do you have for the OG?
Ooh. I mean, just in y'all camp wise, are y'all doing? Is it multiple weeks, or y'all spreading your camps as in like the specialty camps? Because I know you mentioned like an esports camp.
So what we do is we actually offer 5 camps a week. So, and 4 of the camps are for our 5 to 11-year-olds. 5 have to have completed kindergarten. And then we have our teen camp. So in there we have a sports camp, we have a game masters camp, we have an MDA camp, which is music, dance, and art, and then we have a super STEAM camp. So each one of those camps have a different theme each week. So parents will register for a very specific week that they want to go. So they might register sports this week, STEAM for this week, MDA, and they can bounce from camp to camp throughout the week. So it kind of keeps it fun. And then we have some kids that they're like, nope, we're MDA all the way. We're not moving. We like that and we're staying there. And then we have other kids that are like, nope, we're sports and we want to stay in sports. But they get the opportunity to switch it up.
Oh, wow.
So they get to change it up.
Ooh, how does the administration stuff work with that? That seems,
I have amazing hourly front desk staff, as well as our rec leaders, that it's a lot of moving parts, but once we collect all their paperwork and go, it's just making sure that it's assigned to the right camp. And once we get past the first initial, it's pretty smooth. So it's the first day one of camp is a little chaotic, but after that, we're good to go.
It's always controlled chaos.
Always.
Jasmine, can you tell us a little bit about controlled chaos?
Yeah. So the first time I saw summer camp at Vets was last year during All Camp Challenge. And talking about it, it's like, oh yeah, it's going to be 700 kids. It's going to be 700 kids. And I'm like, okay, like I've dealt with that at the museum before. But then being there, I was like, oh, oh. It was so much fun though. Like everyone, I don't think I saw one person who was like sitting out like, oh, I'm not having fun or I don't want to do this. It was everyone just like in it, just having fun.
They're always engaged. That's one of the, when we go and do the surveys, so we do an all camp challenge every year where we get all the City of Las Vegas camps come to one location. It's actually at Vets. And it is very much so organized chaos because 700 is nice. We actually ended up with about 876 kids in one spot last year, and not including all the staff. And then our volunteers, Vegas Golden Knights come out, Metro comes out and helps with it. Becker Tech, your team comes out and helps and supports. And there's a lot of moving parts, but it is a lot of fun. And the kids always say, besides the traditional, Cowabunga always ranks #1 for a field trip. It always gets up there on the top that they like that opportunity to get together and interact and play and be all together, even though it is very chaotic.
It is. So let's talk about some of our staffing that goes into place. We talked about like 870 kids. Every year, the number grows. Joyce, who leads our summer camp charge, she told us we have the potential to take up to 1,200 kids this summer for a summer experience. So were we to reach that number, the staff that comes with it, because the City of Las Vegas is really committed to making sure that our environment remains safe and supervised and that we have plenty of staff. So there's a lot that comes into play to prepare staff, because obviously All Camp Challenge doesn't take place week 1, so there's no worry there. We build up to it, but
Like week 10 or 11, I think it is.
yeah, it is. It's later in the summer, but it takes a lot to get our staff ready. And Nicole, you're part of the summer camp training committee. And so can you tell us a little bit about everything that our staff have to go through before they're on the floor with kids?
So there's a lot. The first thing that everybody has to start out with is we call them our mandatories. And Priscilla, actually, before she came to Becker Tech, used to do those with me. And so it's the mandatories. Everybody has to do their vulnerable participants, mandating reporter, understanding our overall work rules to staff on duty at all times. So our basic core value rules, those have to be done before anybody hits the floor. And then we literally start training as soon as those are done and everybody can hit the floor. Once their mandatories are done, we start training from day one. So we've actually already had some staff in since spring break on the floor training. So I call it on the job training because I like that. So they get the hands-on, like, why do we do this? So there is a lot of that already happening. And then there are two large, where everybody gets together, of 10-hour trainings that go into, they're on May 18th and May 11th this year, where all summer camp staff will come together. So we will train as a group and then hopefully give them the experience to take what they've learned on one day and put it back and become the actual staff and training the full-time staff, how they're going to run a camp, as well as there's about 40 hours of training that goes on minimum on each site. And that's where you get just the little nuances of each one of our sites where we train of, like, you know what, at this site you might be used to 45 kids and you might have your challenges here to where you're up here at, you know, Vets and you have 250 kids on site, or you have 90 kids on here. Each site is unique, but our core values and training is all the same. Our policies are our policies. So there's a lot of, I say TLC going into that, because we are definitely working with people's prized possessions. So we want to make sure that everybody has, as you said, they're in a safe, controlled environment, but there is not a better feeling that happens when I hear a kid, why are you here? And they're saying that to their parents. As staff, we're sitting behind the door and we're like, yes, they had a great day. We did our job.
Now go home.
Yes, now you can go home. It's really okay. But, or they're like, can you come back in 30 minutes? Or why'd you pick me up so early? That is, like, I always try to pull staff out so they can hear that and witness that. And I'm like, you know, you've done a successful day when the kids don't want to leave. Yeah, sometimes where not every day's 110%, but, you know, they're like, oh, okay, yay, Mom, you're here. But for the most part, when the kids are like, I didn't want to go, why are you here? Perfect. We love that. So there's a lot of TLC that goes into our staff. And then they just bring a lot of things to the table that we don't know. So we also, too, as full-time staff, then get the opportunity to learn their staff's niches. And I'm going to use Jasmine here for, I had a pleasure and opportunity of working with Jasmine when she first started with the city. Mm-hmm. And I knew she was super crafty, and there were certain things about her. But when I walked in on a Monday morning and her coworker had created a full-blown house out of cardboard and paper plates in between their two desks, I was like, oh.
We made a gingerbread house.
Made a gingerbread house. I was like, okay, here we go. So I learned. So those were fun opportunities. So we do that with our summer camp staff too. Sometimes they have to warm up a little bit, but then we start realizing, like, oh, what do you mean you played guitar for 20 years, you know, and you didn't share this in your interview? So we like to tap into everybody's little special niches as well.
I'd have to say, like, Jasmine is definitely like a bag of magic tricks.
Yes, she is.
And people sometimes will say, oh, Jasmine doesn't speak. And I'm like,
What?
I'm like, oh my gosh.
She's mute.
She's mute. Phil knows all about that. But like, you are one of those people that like warms up And once you've like warmed up, it's actually pretty funny because people from the outside looking in are probably like, oh, she just doesn't speak up for herself or she doesn't talk much. And you're the first one to be like, and we're not doing that. Like, you're so comfortable like speaking your mind and just like exactly what you want, which is really kind of cool because Philip and I, working with us for as long as you've had to work with us, we're such quiet and shy personalities.
Yeah, I don't say anything.
Ever.
I don't talk to anybody.
Before 9 a.m., that is.
That might be a little late.
Before 9 oh yeah. Did you just admit that you sometimes arrive late?
No, I said that might be a little bit late. Not the
Aw.
no, I always got. Here y'all go.
Okay.
See?
I got you. Here I got you, Phil.
My seat feel a little different.
So I told you I shed a tear the other day. We did an episode with Leland Sparks, and I looked at your seat and I was like, oh, he's not here. But it's okay because you can always come visit. It's not like you're like in a different state. You literally are in the same department across town. And you tend to borrow our equipment quite often, so.
Yeah, you ain't got to worry about it. Me and my 13 partners plus one will be in here in the mix.
So as you're preparing for summer, you were still at Becker, and then you transitioned over to Stupak, which is normal standard practice for us to kind of shuffle staff around. But as you're getting to know your new team, what has been some of like the big differences that you've noticed than working with the Becker team?
Oh, I mean, probably one of the biggest differences is just the dealing with the technology aspect. So, like, coming from a center where it's literally nothing but technology. Shout out to KP. It's just completely different from that end. So, like, even it's like over here, you're dealing with DJ table, you're dealing with music production, you're dealing with podcasting stuff, and then over there where Teams is the butt of, the technology that we're using. So I would say that's probably the biggest difference. And then just, I guess in the sense of just how the teams are set up. So like just us here, it was us three for the most part, at least full-time wise. So it was a little bit easier to communicate. Whereas, over there, just as a whole, like staffing wise, it's a bigger group. So the communication is a lot different than what it was here. So where I can go, knock on your door and be like, hey, I need this, or,
at the same desk, yeah.
It's a little bit different over there, but.
Look to your left. Hey.
Well, and a couple of times too, you've called, because literally everything at the tech center is technology. Like our schedules are an app. Like I ordered paper yesterday because I realized like we have zero paper. We have no paper whatsoever. We don't print things as often as the other facilities do because we have like QR codes posted and we track stats and data and stuff like that. And like all of our like workflows are all managed digitally too. Post-its are like my art nemesis. I'm like, don't put a Post-it on my door or on my computer. There's no telling where it'll end up. But like everybody's job assignments come by way of a checklist, and you had called me and you're like, how did you set that up? Because we need a workflow over here.
Yeah.
And so I think that makes it easier because our whole team, full-time and part-time, has all of their information like at their fingertips. And in all fairness, we do have a much, much younger staff than the rest of the department. Up until our most recent promotion, like I was the youngest person in my classification. Philip, Jasmine, you guys were on the younger end in your classification. Our part-time team is also fairly young. They're new to the city. We're a new facility. So like technology and we work at a tech center, right? So everybody's expectation too is that we get to do it that way. So that's a big, and that helps our communication. Like,
Yeah. You start to realize that communication is huge no matter where you're at.
Key.
Yeah. So even though we kind of communicate differently, just figuring how to do that the most efficient way is probably the biggest lesson that I've definitely learned throughout this last couple months.
and for those of you on the Stupak team, Philip does not like to communicate before 10 a.m. on a good day.
See, and that's why it works because majority of the time I don't come in till 10:45.
Philip is like quiet in the morning, and then
Comes in sunglasses.
Yeah.
Backpack.
and I'd be talking to him, and I'm like, "Are you listening to me?" And he's like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Will you look at me? Like,
No.
will you turn and look at me so that I know?" Because I'm a morning person. Like, I'm up 4:35. By the time I get to work at 9 o'clock in the morning, like, I've been up, I've been to the gym, like, I've cooked, I've done all these things, I've been up for hours. And you get up early, but you're just not.
My brain be trying to figure it out at that time. You know what I'm saying? I be trying to organize myself in my head before, I put it to words.
Yeah.
So
And then Jasmine's like a good in-betweener. She's a great buffer.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a morning and a night person, so I could do either.
Yeah. So that used to be like our communication challenge, because they'd walk in the door and I'm like, "I've been here by myself. I'm ready for people." And he's like, "Man, she's ready."
you're like 5 minutes, you know what I'm saying? 10 minutes, I'll be all right.
He would say, "Can I set my stuff down first?"
You know what else has drastically decreased at Becker since your partying?
Here we go.
The dishes. Philip cooks, and all of his food cooked from home comes to work. So he always has like dishes and Tupperware, and then he brings in his own blender, and he's got like extra food in the fridge. And I was at a conference, and when I came home, and I came to work, I opened the fridge and I'm like, "There's nothing in here."
Yeah, I don't even use it. I was like, well, y'all might as well you should have just sent that to me with the Stupak with me.
Phil wants
The whole fridge, the whole joint, yeah. Ice,
Let us know what
everything.
time's lunch. We'll come on over.
And we do pretty regular, like we eat as a staff pretty regularly. Philip brings like deep fryer and like cooks for us here on site.
That's a boost. Those
so-
are potlucks. That's different.
That is different. But you can bring that to your new team. You can, now you don't have to bring it from home. You actually have a kitchen. Our building is not big enough for a kitchen. So I actually have pictures of Philip deep frying our food outside in the park.
Again, that was for a potluck. That wasn't just a
No,
regular
it wasn't a
day.
potluck. It was a staff training with a potluck attached to it. Okay, let's not mislead the folks out in the world. We were training and had a staff meeting that went along with it. So, yeah, we're going to have to talk to Auntie Stella, because the next time we have like our staff meeting, who is going to do our lumpia?
Yeah, not your boy.
Auntie Stella would do it for me.
You can put in some orders. She got you.
She does.
Yeah. We try to tell her all the time she needs to just open up her own business, but who knows?
Who knows?
She got 2 years left, so she might be on to new endeavors.
Okay. Okay. Well, get your orders in while you can. Philip can be found at Stupak Community Center, 251 West Boston.
Just don't come before 10 a.m.
No. And if you do, bring food. So now that we're like the summer season is upon us, we're like literally 2 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away from opening up summer camp. What are you guys looking the most forward to with the summer season starting?
Well, you just made me sweat when you said 2.5 weeks. I was like, wait, I thought it was 3. It made me, we're 2.5. Personally, I like, and we're a busy center as it is. So we're busy all the time, but the busy of camp is like no other. And I like that. I like the kids in the building. I like hearing them down the hall. I love hearing them sing down the hallway. Um, the screaming, makes me panic a little bit, but I like that. I like the added kids in the building, because we still offer all of our classes, so we're equally as busy. But it, man, 250 kids is totally different. That's a whole new beast on a half of the building, and but I love that. I love them in there all the time. I like the staff too. I like the added staff. In there, and like I said, getting to learn their new tricks or what they can bring to the team and the table. I like that. So and I'm super excited this summer. We have a solid team. So I'm really looking forward to summer because it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a great summer. So I'm excited. And I had all new staff last year, so they literally, their first day, poor Austin, his first day of work for the city of Las Vegas was the first day of summer camp. And I remember looking at him and introducing myself, and I was like, just stay on my tail. Just wherever I go, you go, and we'll be good for this week. So I'm really excited this year to be able to pass it on to him and see what he has for the kids to come. And he's been working crazy. And I had 3 new staff that all started within 1 month of camp. So I'm excited this year for them as they're getting to really plan out camp. And it's not just my brain going. And it's very thankful for that. So, but I'm excited for the busyness.
Okay. What about you guys?
I think I'm most excited for just camp as a whole because, I mean, this is my first opportunity to be able to kind of run at least a campsite how I see fit, especially with like setting up the field trips and, things of that nature. And then I'm super competitive, so being able to coach them through like the all STEAM stuff and the all camp challenges is going to be exciting.
Hey,
So,
stay tuned. Becker Tech, although
I don't know. I think I'm seeing a challenge here.
oh, it is.
Got you.
Don't you? Hey, we
Becker
coming.
Tech was not
We
allowed to
are coming.
participate in the challenges. We were told that it was an unfair advantage because we may have producers and graphic artists and design people and have our own channel. So they just thought that would be unfair. But
I'm
stay
coming with
tuned.
all that.
Stay tuned because we're going to make our way in there.
Eventually, we'll do it.
I'm coming, Joyce. Respectfully, we're coming. Okay, Jasmine, what are you looking forward to?
I really love the specialty camps, especially because usually the kids are super interested in what I'm trying to teach them. Sometimes for classes, the kids will come in and it's like the parents very much wanting them to do something. And then the kids are like, oh, okay, I'm here. My mom said I had to be here. But for summer camp, it's a lot more of them being really interested and them wanting to learn. So it's really cool to do that with like a small group over a week and just be able to like build relationships and like teach them stuff and just have fun. Yeah.
So for me, I'm really excited because last summer was like our experiment, right? Because Becker was a month old. And so we didn't know like what the community really wanted from us. And we didn't know like what was going to be successful and what format was going to work for our facility and for our structure. And now like a year later, like our camps, I feel are stronger than what we did last year. And last year our camps were very successful. And then on top of that, this year, I'm really excited because our team gets to provide support to all of the other sites. And one of the things that's really great about summer is that while everybody's running their own camp, because of all the challenges, it really is an opportunity to like build our department culture. And the Becker team last year had a little bit of involvement in that with the 2 main events, but that was it. Like, other than that, we were completely separate from everybody else. And because of our structure, not a whole lot applied. And this summer, we're supporting with like the newsletters and our summer series for the podcast. And our staff is going to be attending the events. And we're in a lot more frequent communication with the sites. So I think that that's really good for the staff and the department culture that
we're
is
coming to you
established.
for field trips.
You guys are coming to us for field trips.
I think that was one of my favorite things last year is the field trips because it's just like a big open house. Everyone just gets to have fun. Yeah.
We are definitely the hostesses with the mostest, okay? We love hosting people at Becker. Like, we have, like, the field trips and the tours, like, narrowed down. Even Phil, when you were here, like, you love those.
Oh, for sure.
And so, like, that, like, we have a strong, our building, but the community that we sit in, we're really fortunate that we have a strong sense of community, like, surrounding us and coming into the building. And everybody who stops by, they're like, we don't want to leave. When can we come back? How can we work together? Like, this is amazing. And that's a really great feeling, especially for being so new, because you never know how the community is going to receive it. So so we love hosting. We love having everybody here.
P, I got a question for you. What do you miss about traditional camp?
Probably.
I know you get to be in it, but the traditional camps, because you've spent a vast majority of your career in community centers.
I was going to say the chaos, because I've always done like larger sites. This is the smallest facility that I've ever been in. But we have quite a bit of controlled chaos here too. Yeah, I'd say like just how different summer is from the rest of the year. Because at a traditional site, you do have your year-round programming and summer. And with Becker being a smaller building, like our structure stays pretty similar. We have some added components, but even sometimes people are like, how do you get any work done? And there are days where I'm like, I don't know. And then most of the time, like I like to hear the volume. Like I like to see people moving and the moving pieces. For me, and you were talking about the screaming, and what I relate that to is the tone is different. Like when kids are laughing, the squeals are different than when there's trouble.
Yep.
And so the squeals and the laughing and the joking and all that, I thrive in that environment, like in all that high energy and like keep moving. Summer, like every single day, you don't know what you're gonna get. Every single day there is something different. No matter how much you plan, something is bound to not go as planned.
Yep.
And I do really well at like pivoting and stuff. So I do miss like that. But I don't know, like there's no 2 days that look the same at Becker either.
Right.
We have a lot of teens. Our mentorship program has almost 170 teens. They're not all here at the same time, but they're all at some point throughout the day, like coming through the building. And like I have a strong sense of pride in this community because when the kids are struggling with something, they come running to Becker. When they need help, when they get stuck with something, if something is making them uncomfortable, and that's a great feeling to be able to work in that every day. And I've had, everybody gets tired of this. Jasmine actually got me a mug, but I am talent management. I have like such a talented team. Are you laughing at my mug?
No, continue on.
I do. I tell everybody I'm talent management because everybody here is like so skilled at what they do. They're great with the kids, like, and just the dynamics. And for me, it's just like moving obstacles, making sure they're all good. But a lot of what I do is only because of the team that I have. Like, I have a solid crew. I tell everybody, like, they're pretty good. They just need crisis management when it comes up.
Yep.
So, well, summer camp is upon us.
Yep.
As our summer series get going, we're super excited to share that we're actually going to have some of our participants and junior broadcasters joining us for the next several episodes. And we're really, really excited for this summer. We appreciate all of the time that you have spent with us and continue to give back to the community every single day. These are the staff members that love on your kiddos all summer long. When they have a bad day, when they need to negotiate with their friends, when they fall in love and fall out of love, all the summer romances, all of the "you're not my friends anymore," all of like the laughter, the "I love yous." Can you give my mom your phone number? Like all of the kids who like fall in love with our staff, like you guys lead those teams. So all the parents out there should be super grateful. And thank you for discovering Las Vegas with us.
Thank you.
Stu packed me outside all summer 2024.